categorized into two things. It's either rational fear or irrational. Rational or irrational. When my parents saw me for the first time and I said, surprise, they looked at me and obviously some thoughts came to them. What is my son going to do? What is he going to achieve? And I want you to know that in your life, when you look at your fear, most of the time, the emotion of fear takes you to the irrational, where guess what? You conclude the limitations that stops you to actually achieve the unimaginable. You know the most discouraging people in your life that you feel that are limiting you? Watch this. You can tell me in 3 seconds, oh Nick, you're crazy. That dream is too big. When I told my mom and dad, hey mom and dad, I want to be a speaker. Do you know what my father said? Nick, you were not given arms and legs, but you were given a brain. Use your brain. Don't expect things given to you. Figure it out and make it happen. And I know the UAE is known to make it happen. And when I asked my parents, Mom and Dad, can I have that? Do you know what? They said no. Why? Because they knew that if they give everything to me, when I want it, how I want it, absolutely what I want, guess what? I will never be grateful for what I have if I get everything I want. And it forced me to say, okay, if I'm not just going to get what I want, here I am, there's the goal. I'm only going to say it one more time, guys. I'm so sorry. Please give me my phone up here or a clock, because there is no clock and I want to respect the time given. There is no clock on the stage at this time. Please give me a clock and give me a note how many minutes I have left, please. Thank you. I want to be absolutely respectful. I will not go a minute under, but I won't go a minute over, okay? So when you look at this table, do you see this table? Everyone say yes. Yes. Okay, so when you go towards this way, sometimes we think that it's so far away. Sometimes it's unimaginable. Sometimes you don't even see the next step in front of you. Does that make sense? To believe in something you cannot see actually requires faith, F-A-I-T-H, full assurance in the heart. But you need to know the truth of three things: your value, your purpose, and your destiny. And when I was afraid at school, kids would come up and tease me and put me down, and they say, what happened? And I just say, cigarettes. And I tell you, man, that humor has grown with me to realize that, you know what, if I'm comfortable with me and myself, then other people may feel comfortable around me too. And I'll never forget one of these things that, man, I love it. On YouTube, we actually put some hidden cameras down the jetway of an airline flight one day, because I took my humor a little bit too far. So sometimes I get my friends to put me in the overhead compartment to freak people out. Sometimes I tell the flight attendants if they need some help, you know, up at the flight deck, then let me know, I'll give them a hand. And actually on YouTube, we dressed me up as the pilot and greeted the passengers as they came on the plane. And I tell you, some people believed in God for the very first time. And I tell you right now, it was awesome to understand that sometimes when you see the glasses half empty, you've got to see the glasses half full, but it's not just there. It's not just accepting where you're at. It's figuring out, why am I here? Is there more potential that I haven't seen yet? What is it? Do you see my little foot? My parents actually had no idea what I could do with my little foot until I tried. You don't know what you can achieve until you try. Why don't we try? Because of fear. Thank you. Fear of what? Fear of failure. Fear of rejection. What do you need to combat fear? Anyone? What's the word? Courage. Let me show you what courage is. I'm going to jump off the table. do a backflip and land on the floor. Are you ready?
Oh my God!
Dubai, are you ready?
Yes!
Dubai, are you ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I'm joking, man. Are you serious? If I did that, I'll break my arm or something, all right? What is courage? Is courage when you're not afraid? If I sit here and get ready, and get ready, and get ready, an hour later, I'm getting ready, I'm still gonna be afraid. Do you know what instigates courage? Purpose. Purpose. The power of perspective and purpose. Ready? Let's change it for a second. I'm on this table, no one's around. A fire is coming through this building. No one can get me off this stage. Now, am I going to jump off the stage? Yes. Am I still going to be afraid? Yes. But when you, yes I am. But when you know why you're doing what you're doing, that strength comes over you and you get over the obstacle. For me in my life, I realized that I didn't know what I could achieve until I tried. This little foot, do you know how many words I can type now? I can type 53 words a minute on a normal computer. And that's after 2 cups of coffee. And my dad said, Nick, you were not given arms and legs, but you were given a brain. Use your brain. Start a business. Get into the stock market. Go into real estate. Go into financial planning and accounting. Start something so then you can have employees to be your hands and feet. Do you know how old I was when he told me that great advice? 6 years old. And do you know what I did? Because they didn't give me money and stuff that I wanted, my brother would take out the rubbish for $1 or $2 a week. So you know what I did for $1 or $2 a week? I vacuumed the floor with my shoulder and my chin. And this is how my mom and dad taught me many principles. The first principle is don't expect everything given to you. This value of understanding that even in abundance, seeing where Dubai has come in the last 10 years, you're only 47, 48 years old as a country. It's amazing what has happened and the progress and the abundance, and then coming out of the economic crisis in 2007, 2008 to now building an entire part of the city in 1 year that I drove through. I want you to know it's a mighty, mighty achievement. Mighty achievement. It's amazing what opportunities people have here. It really is incredible. But in your next generation of your children, in that abundance, they need to understand that they also need to work with their hands. They also need to use their brains. They also need to respect one another. They also need to know that the value of a human being has nothing to do with how much money you have in the bank. These values have to start in our home, but the values have to start with you. I am no less important than you, and you're no less important than me. And I want you to know this beautiful story of understanding that you will never ever imagine who the person actually was who looked at me one day and said, Nick, you're going to be a speaker. Do you know what? I was 17 years old, and I was at my high school, and an Indian man who was cleaning the toilets, 61-year-old Arnold, in my high school, he looked at me one day and he said, you, Nick. I said, yes. You're in the student government. Yes, I am. He said, congratulations. I said, thank you very much. He said, you are gonna be a speaker. And I said, come again? He said, you're gonna be a speaker. I said, what are you talking about? What am I gonna speak about? He said, your story. I said, I don't have a story. He said, yes, you do. I said, no, I don't. Now get this, I'm at 17 years old at that time, and this is the journey of my life. I was encouraged by my parents. They always said, don't worry, you're beautiful, we love you, there's a special purpose for your life, just keep on going, do your best. Guys, sorry. If you give me a phone with the countdown clock that locks itself, I can't get back in. I'm very sorry. I'm sorry, I just have to tell you. Sorry, just run up here and give me my phone if you want. I can get, thanks Steve. I don't know whose phone that is. Everyone, this is Steve, my cousin. Everyone say hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve! Siguro tig-assist niya, no?
Excuse me.
Ay, gamit sa kaya ko, ano?
Mahimo naman yung kamot.
How much time do I have left, please? 2-0 or 3-0? 2-0. 20 minutes left. Wow, that flew. Stopwatch. Start. I love you too. Ready? I think you jibbed me of 5 minutes, mate. I love you. Here we go. Do you see this? This is the path of encouragement towards your dream and your goal. Encouragement brings you closer. Discouragement takes you away. It only takes 3 or 5 seconds for someone to discourage you, tell you something negative, and then you know what happens when you walk away? You repeat it again and again and again and again and again. And that was my disability. It was allowing people's opinions to define me in a way that I actually became my worst enemy. When I looked at myself in the mirror, I would see no arms and no legs. And I came home one day from school and I said, there's got to be at least one thing that something is good about me. I just wish people would see who I am on the inside. And I looked at myself in the mirror and said, it's okay. You just can't give up on you. It's okay. You just can't give up on you. And when I was 10 years old, I nearly gave up. I actually tried to drown myself in my bathtub, believing that there was no hope. Can you imagine if I went through with that? I would limit myself to never seeing my wife, my children, travel 70 countries, being in the room of royalty, 18 presidents, speaking in front of 10 governments, and bringing in social emotional learning curriculum for young people to know values in their life, and even talk to governments to allow special needs children to now go to school. It's unimaginable. But you can't give up on you. And we're like, but I can't. Well, you don't know what you can achieve until you try. Thomas Edison, he made the light bulb. Did anyone know how many times he tried?
I know.
10,000 times. Someone came up to him and said, dude, how does it feel failing 9,999 times? He said, I never failed 9,999 times. Now I know 9,999 ways in how not to make a light bulb. I want you to know that when that janitor looked at me, guess what? Sometimes people believe in you before you do. Everything starts with a vision. Dubai started with one person believing. Any big company started with one person believing. And anyone who is successful will never tell you that they did it on their own. Tony Robbins will never say that. Nick Vujicic will never say that, because it takes people to come alongside of you this huge event. Ask them how many people encouraged them, empowered them, but it took one vision. What is your vision? Your little brother here is letting you know, I believe in you. as that janitor looked at me and he said, "You are going to be a speaker." I said, "No way." Do you know what freaked me out? Do you know that the biggest fear in the world is public speaking? Do you know that the second biggest fear in the world is death itself? So some people would rather die before they become a public speaker. And you know, the janitor was so adamant, he comes up to me and he says, "I want you to speak in front of 6 people. And I'm like, "No, thank you." And I walked away. The next day, he comes and he says, "Nick, speak." I said, "No," and I walk away. Next day, he looks at me, I look at him, I start walking away. He starts jumping after me. He's running after me. And he says, "Please, please, please." After 3 months, he twists my arm, and I said yes. And I got up in front of, did you get that joke?
Yeah.
And I sat down in front of 6 people, and my palms were sweaty, my knees were shaking. I had no idea what to say. And all of a sudden, this girl started to cry, and it was amazing. And you look someone in the eyes. When I look at you, I don't look at your clothes. I don't look at your body. I look at your eyes. When I look at someone in their eyes, if it's okay in the culture, I'll do it. If not, I won't do it. But when people look at me and they look me in the eyes, you know what they see? They see not my body. They see my soul. You are not defined by outside things, money, drugs, sex, alcohol, pornography, fame and fortune. If you put your happiness in temporary things, your happiness will be temporary. Most bad things in the world starts with 3 bad evils: pride, lust, and greed. Most of the world that we have today, when you look at the world with 2 billion people who have less than a handful of food to eat daily, many people who don't have education, what we're going to see is an example where we need to, as much as we can, not just get, but also always invest back into the next generation. And as my parents always said, don't forget those who have less than you. And I'm glad to tell you today that that DNA has helped me to know that no matter how much money I have, it doesn't make me more of a status, even though some people think that. No. Do you want to know why people like me? It's because I love you. I don't care who you are. I love you. I don't care how rich you are. I love you. I don't care how poor you are. I love you. Love has no bounds. When my parents saw me, they loved me without limit. When I look at my wife, I love my wife without limit. She looks at me, I have no arms and legs, just in case you've forgotten. It's amazing what love can do when we love each other and love the world. And when this janitor loved me and he said, "I believe in you," and I spoke, and this girl cried. And I looked at her and I knew she would never be the same again. And then they said, "Can we have your number?" And I'll get invited to this speech and this speech and this speech. And then one person crying on my shoulder said, "No one's ever told me that they love me. No one's ever told me that I'm beautiful the way that I am." And her life was changed forever. And I came back to Mom and Dad and I said, "Mom and Dad, I know what I want to be for the rest of my life." And my dad said, "Good, finish school first." And I said, "Yes, sir." I was doing a double degree in accounting and financial planning. I was already in the stock market making more money than my friends. I was already flipping homes at age 19. I had already an entrepreneurial business as a teenager because my dad said, "Figure it out. Stop complaining. Stop wishing that something's different. Stop waiting for something more." You must agree with me that if you want to reach the unimaginable, you need to become masters of leverage. The people who achieve their unimaginable dreams have mastered one skill, and the skill is leverage. Leveraging in understanding, who am I, what do I have, and what do I have to do to get it? When I told my mom and dad, "Hey, Mom and Dad, I want to be a speaker," my mom said, "Excuse me?" I said, "Yes." "What do you mean? What are you going to speak about?" I said, I don't know. She said, who's gonna wanna hear you speak? I said, I don't know. She said, how are you gonna get the invitations? I said, I don't know. This is before YouTube. This is before YouTube. You know the phone book? We had no internet in Australia at the time. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna honor my parents as much as I can, but I'm also gonna be a speaker on the side. And that's what I did. You wanna know how I started? I called 52 schools and they all said no. If you got a pen and paper, I'm gonna give you the 7 principles right now. And I'm gonna share with you the 7 principles of success. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Good. First one is this. I don't know what I can achieve until I try. I'll say it again. I don't know what I can achieve until I try. Second, when I fail, I will what?
Fail forward.
Try again. Not complicated, is it? Who likes failure? No one. I hate failure. Number 4, ready? Sorry, number 3. I love you, so I just seen if you're awake. Number 3, ready? Obstacles equals opportunities. Number 4, failure is my classroom. Do you know that the last time I came to Dubai, someone actually ran off with 110,000 US dollars from me? This is true. But guess what? I didn't sue him. I didn't report him. I didn't go after him. One, he was having a little crazy time in his life. And I'm so thankful that I'm here because I know I can trust you and all the monies, and that's got nothing to do. I'm just saying, guess what? When you swallow your ego and you realize money is money, money comes, money goes. I've lost money before, I will probably lose money again. Was that a failure on my part? Yeah, I worked with that guy the first time, he was good. And then he said, please trust me. And I'm a trusting person. And then he ran away. Guess what, guys? I was just waiting for the time and the way to come back to Dubai. And here I am. Here I am. I could have said, I'm never gonna blah, 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 blah. No, it's got nothing to do with the people. It's about experiences and lessons. I have learnt my lesson. Man, that was a costly class. Guess what? Just make sure Nick never does that again. You can do all that you can do. Sometimes failures come. Sometimes things fail. Sometimes people fail you. And sometimes you may fail other people. When we understand that here we are as human beings, together as one, let's make Dubai the best Dubai it could be. Let's make the world the best place we can make it today. We gotta understand that money comes, money goes, but love, that's why I came back to Dubai. Because someone loved me enough to invite me here, and I love you. And guess what? Will Nick keep on learning different lessons? Absolutely. Will they be painful? Yes, but failure is my classroom. Number 5, ready? Dream big. Everyone say dream big.
Dream big!
Dream big.
Dream big!
Number 6, never give up. And number 7, have faith. I want you to know today that sometimes we do things that we have no idea how much wonderful positive impact we actually could be doing to other people. But I want you to know how this January affected me. I tried to be a speaker. I called 52 schools. They all said no. Did it feel good to fail? No. Was it my classroom? Yes. I got better and better and better at asking. You want to know how my first phone call went? I dialed the number, first school. Hello, Hi, my name is Nick, and I'm a speaker, and I was wondering if I could come and speak at your school. That's how I was at 19. And guess what? No. Even one school said, we don't want you to come because you're just going to scare everyone at school. Was that offensive? Hello, was that offensive? Yes. If I swallow my ego, failure is my classroom. If I don't know anything about marketing, I'm not going to see that as a barrier. I'm not going to see that as a disaster. I'm going to see it as an opportunity. If I don't know how to speak, I'm going to learn how to be a speaker. If I don't know how to market myself, I'm going to market myself the best way that I can. And every time I got to know, I want to tell you right now, I got better and better and better and better. And on my 53rd phone call, this is how it went. Hello, my name is Nick Vujicic. I'm a motivational speaker. I was wondering if I can come and speak at your school about bullying, self-esteem, dreaming big, and never giving up. And guess what they said? Yes! And I got in that school, and I spoke. And then when I got in that school, another school heard about me and called me. And they said, hey, we heard you're a speaker. Can you come and speak at my school? I want you to know, I'm sorry if I make you jealous. I don't want to make you jealous if you're a business person yourself. But we all know that in business that you can't do anything successfully without marketing, generally speaking. Everyone, I want you to know that without marketing, from ground up, before my parents even knew it, before I even realized the unimaginable, I have now spoken 3,500 times in 70 countries, and I want you to see this photo. This is the largest audience we've ever had, 800,000 people in Ukraine, with 26 million people, 26 countries, 53 million people watching this little guy on stage. And I'll never forget when I saw a little boy with no arms and no legs in a crowd one day, and I looked at him and he had a little foot like me, and I'm like, wow, he's just like me. And I had flashbacks of when I was a kid and kids would tease me, and I could tell him, hey, my history is really his story in the making, in a way. To know that there is a creator who designs a greater plan for our life. And I can tell him, don't give up on you. Do your best and keep on going one day at a time. Dream big, never give up, and have faith. Faith to believe in what you cannot see, and not just what you cannot see, but even the things you can't even imagine. And this boy was getting teased in school, at his school, and I went to his school in my wheelchair, and I didn't run over anyone deliberately, but I went there to talk about love, and no one teased anyone after I went there. Daniel, now he's 13 years old, 14 years old. He just graduated middle school in USA. I now live in California. I was Australian born. I want you to know that when I hear about this boy, now seeing that, okay, if Nick had a good life, then maybe I don't have to give up. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been abused? Have you ever been misjudged? Have you ever been displaced, and have you ever been lonely? What if your history is still in the making of your story to help another person? It's one thing for me to help a limbless child. It's one thing for me and my wife to sponsor 15 other children and full education, which we do in Africa. But it's another thing when you realize that you have the power to encourage someone else unlocking their unimaginable world. And I want you to know that I am happy. I am happy. If I die today, I die happy. And I'm not afraid, because I know where I'm going. And I want you to know today, when your soul is restored and your spirit has found joy and your spirit has found peace and your spirit has found purpose in your life. Do you see this smile? I know the truth, that I don't need to be like someone. And when the world says that I'm not good enough, I get a second opinion. Be you to the best of your ability to see your unimaginable become reality, one step at a time. I want you to know, dream big and get out of your own way. When you hear those little voices, oh, you're not good enough, just get a second, you know, you'll always be a failure. You must believe in yourself. You must believe in yourself. And take one day at a time, one day at a time. So let's keep on going and let's reach the unimaginable. I want you to know, lastly, one practice that I do every day. I wake up in the morning and I'm thankful. Do you see this smile? Do you want to know the happiest people I've been around? I've been around more people poor and happy than rich and happy. And let me tell you, here's the secret. Write down every blessing. Do you know what I love about your culture? You always say, Insha'Allah. Insha'Allah. If God wills. Write down every day what you're thankful for. This smile is because Nick is not complaining about having arms and legs. Nick is thankful and he's gonna do his best. In Dubai, I just hope with the time that was given me today that I've imparted some inspiration. That it's not about that I had more than you or you had more than me. It's about here we are. Let's move forward. Let's dream big and do the impossible. Dubai, thank you so much for having me.